In the bustling town between lush green hills, there lived a young man named Ali. Though his dreams were big, his journey was filled with frustration and setbacks. Despite his hard work, he found himself struggling to make meaningful connections and achieve the success he longed for. That was until he met an elderly man named Imam Zaid, who would teach him the secret that would change his life forever. In today's story, we'll explore how the power of good manners can transform your relationships, open new doors, and change your entire life. Ali had always been taught that success was earned through dedication. He woke up early every morning, got ready for work, and poured his energy into every task, hoping that one day his persistence would pay off. But despite his efforts, his achievements seemed insignificant. The promotions he hoped for never materialized, and he watched as others around him moved ahead, their successes lighting a path that seemed forever out of his reach. "What am I missing?" he often asked himself. "Why does success always seem just beyond my grasp?" Even with his work ethic, Ali's relationships felt strained. He struggled to connect with his colleagues, many of whom had become close friends over the years, but he never felt that same closeness. Conversations were often surface level, about work, the weather, or plans for the weekend, but they never seemed to go beyond that. He would find himself sitting at the lunch table, nodding along to discussions, but feeling disconnected from the lives of those around him. He longed for more than just professional camaraderie. He yearned for deep, meaningful connections that felt real and grounded. At home, the disconnection persisted. His family loved him, but the relationship lacked the warmth and understanding he had hoped for. Every dinner conversation revolved around the same old topics: how work was going, who was coming to visit next week. But there was never a real conversation about how Ali felt or what he was going through. It seemed like everyone was too busy with their own lives to truly notice that he was struggling internally. He kept his feelings bottled up, believing that they were too insignificant to share. The hardest part, though, was how little Ali felt he had accomplished in comparison to others. His peers seemed to have it all: stable careers, thriving personal lives, and a sense of fulfillment that Ali could only admire from afar. He questioned his own choices, wondering where he had gone wrong. Am I not working hard enough? Am I not good enough? These thoughts plagued his mind, making it hard to focus on anything else. He had dedicated so much of himself to reaching his goals, but the results didn't align with the effort he had put in. One particularly cold evening, after another long day of unacknowledged work and unspoken frustrations, Ali found himself sitting alone on the balcony of his apartment, gazing at the stars above. The distant lights of the town below flickered like tiny hopes, and for the first time, Ali allowed himself to reflect on everything that had led him here. The dreams he had held as a child seemed so distant now, overshadowed by the harsh reality of the adult world. "Is this it?" he asked aloud. "Am I destined to keep working in circles, never finding what I truly seek?" For the first time, Ali allowed himself to confront the questions he had been avoiding. Why does everything feel like it's stuck in neutral? What am I truly chasing? The answers didn't come easily, but one thing became clear to him. He was searching for something deeper than success. He wasn't just after a promotion or recognition. He longed for a connection, a sense of purpose that had eluded him despite all his hard work. As the evening deepened and the chill in the air grew more intense, Ali continued to sit on the balcony, lost in his thoughts. The questions that had plagued him for months seemed to swirl around him like a storm. He had always been so focused on climbing the ladder of success, working harder, pushing himself further. But now, sitting quietly, he realized that something was missing. It wasn't the lack of effort. It was something deeper, something he had overlooked in his pursuit of achievement. It was at that moment, in the midst of his confusion, that he heard footsteps approaching. The sound was gentle, steady, and Ali didn't need to turn around to know that it was Imam Zaid, the wise elder everyone in the town spoke of. Imam Zaid was known for his serene presence, his calm demeanor, and the deep wisdom he carried. He had lived a full life, guided by principles that others respected deeply. People often came to him for advice, and Ali, though never formally introduced to the man, had heard many stories about his kindness and the transformative impact his words had on others. Imam Zaid sat beside him without a word, simply offering a quiet presence. For a long time, neither of them spoke. Ali didn't know why, but he felt a strange sense of comfort sitting next to the elder. There was a tranquility about Imam Zaid that seemed to calm the storm inside Ali's mind. Finally, Imam Zaid broke the silence, his voice soft but steady. "I see you're troubled, young man," he said, his words cutting through the quiet night. Ali didn't know how to respond. It was as if the elder had read his thoughts, his confusion, his frustration. He turned to look at him, and Imam Zaid smiled warmly, his eyes filled with understanding. "It is not uncommon to feel lost," Imam Zaid continued. "Many young men your age think that success is the key to happiness, that hard work alone will bring fulfillment. But let me ask you, Ali, what is the true measure of success? Is it the title you hold, the salary you earn, or the recognition from others?" Ali, startled by the question, hesitated before responding. "I've always thought success meant achieving my goals, getting noticed for my work, and eventually being able to provide a comfortable life for my family." Imam Zaid nodded thoughtfully. "And while all of those things are important, there is something more profound that should guide you. True success is not measured by what you achieve alone, but by how you carry yourself in the world, by the respect and kindness you show to others." Ali furrowed his brow, unsure of where Imam Zaid was heading. "But I've always worked hard. I've dedicated myself to my career. Why isn't that enough?" His voice cracked slightly with frustration. Imam Zaid turned to face him, his eyes filled with compassion. "Hard work is noble, Ali. But what if I told you that the key to unlocking your potential and your true success lies in something simpler, something that doesn't require more hours of work, but rather a shift in how you interact with others?" Ali felt a sense of curiosity rise within him. "What do you mean? What else could there be?" Imam Zaid smiled, his voice calm yet firm. "Manners, young man. Manners are not just about politeness. They are the cornerstone of every successful relationship, both personal and professional. How you treat others, how you listen, how you show respect, and how you respond. These things form the foundation of trust, loyalty, and the strength of your connections. Manners are what allow people to truly see you, not just your work, but the essence of who you are." Ali was silent, absorbing the weight of Imam Zaid's words. He had never considered the power of manners in the way the old man described. All this time, he had been focused on his career, on impressing others with his skills and accomplishments. But he had neglected the simple acts of kindness, respect, and humility that could have bridged the gap between himself and those around him. Imam Zaid continued, "Look at the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH. May peace be upon him. His greatness was not in his title or his wealth, but in his manners. He treated everyone with dignity, whether a rich merchant, a poor beggar, or even those who opposed him. His manners, his kindness, and his patience are what drew people to him, and through those qualities he transformed entire communities. True success, Ali, is not just about building wealth or status. It's about building relationships and character. If you focus on your manners, your ability to show empathy, patience, and respect, you will open doors that no amount of ambition or hard work alone can ever open." Ali felt a shift in his heart, as if the weight of his confusion had lifted slightly. He had always admired the Prophet's, peace be upon him, character, but he had never realized how central good manners were to that greatness. He had been so caught up in his own struggles that he hadn't noticed the small ways he could change, the small ways he could impact the people around him. "But how do I start?" Ali asked, his voice filled with a mixture of hope and uncertainty. "How do I transform my life with something as simple as manners?" Imam Zaid's face softened with a knowing smile. "Start by being present with others. Listen carefully and show interest in their lives, their struggles and their dreams. Be patient in your interactions, even when you're tired or frustrated. Show gratitude for the little things. Say, thank you, even for the smallest acts of kindness. When you give respect, it comes back to you in ways you can't imagine. Slowly, you'll see the world change around you, and you will begin to attract the kind of relationships and opportunities that you have been longing for." Ali sat quietly, his mind racing with the implications of Imam Zaid's words. It was a simple concept, but one that he had overlooked for far too long. The key to unlocking his potential, to achieving success, wasn't in working harder, but in becoming a better person, someone who truly valued others, someone who treated people with the respect and kindness they deserved. Imam Zaid stood up, offering a final piece of advice. "Remember, Ali, the way you treat others reflects your relationship with yourself and with Allah. Good manners are a reflection of the goodness in your heart, and it is through this goodness that true success is born." Ali looked up at the old man, gratitude filling his heart. For the first time in a long while, he felt a sense of clarity. The answer wasn't more work, it was more heart, more kindness, more genuine connection. As Imam Zaid walked away, Ali remained sitting there, his mind filled with a new sense of purpose. He knew that his journey wasn't over, but now he had a new starting point, a way to change his life from the inside out. The following morning, after his enlightening conversation with Imam Zaid, Ali woke up with a renewed sense of purpose. The words of the wise elder echoed in his mind. "Start with simple acts of kindness, patience and respect," Imam Zaid had said. "These small changes will transform not only your relationships, but your entire life." Ali was determined to begin applying what he had learned. As he prepared for another day at work, Ali reflected on how he had been approaching his life until now. He realized that in his pursuit of success, he had often been too focused on himself, on his own needs, his ambitions, and his frustrations. He had taken little time to listen to others, to acknowledge their feelings, or to truly appreciate their presence. Today, Ali decided to change that. He arrived at the office early as usual, but today something felt different. Instead of diving straight into his tasks, Ali took a moment to greet his colleagues with genuine warmth. He smiled, made eye contact, and asked how they were doing. In the past, he had greeted them with a polite but distant nod, too absorbed in his own thoughts to engage with them fully. Today, he tried something new. He listened. One colleague, Sarah, seemed particularly tired. Ali noticed this and asked her if everything was okay. "It's just a lot on my plate right now," she replied with a sigh. "But I'll manage." Ali nodded and said, "I hear you. If there's anything I can do to help, let me know. I'm here if you need support." Sarah looked up at him, surprised. She smiled, though tiredly. "Thanks, Ali. That means a lot." This small exchange, a simple gesture of empathy, had a profound effect on Ali. He hadn't expected much from it, but as he returned to his desk, he realized something important. Listening, being present, and showing genuine concern made a difference. People were responding to him differently. They no longer seemed distant or indifferent. In fact, they seemed more open, more willing to engage with him. As the day went on, Ali continued to practice the new manners he had committed to. He greeted his boss, Mr. Hassan, with more than just a cursory "good morning." He made sure to ask how Mr. Hassan was doing and whether he needed anything before diving into his own tasks. His boss seemed to appreciate this and gave Ali a longer look than usual. Later in the day, Ali was asked to assist on a project that he had hoped to work on for a while. It was a task that would help him show his skills to the senior team, but until now, he had never been considered for such opportunities. He couldn't help but wonder if his new approach had played a role in this. Was it his consistent focus on treating others with kindness and respect that had opened this door? But it wasn't just at work where Ali was seeing changes. Later that evening, he went to the local store to pick up some groceries. The cashier, a young woman named Layla, greeted him with a tired smile. Ali had seen her many times before, but today he took the time to really see her. As he placed his items on the counter, he made a point to ask, "How has your day been?" "I know it's been a busy time of year." Layla seemed surprised, pausing before responding. "It's been hectic, but I'm hanging in there. Thank you for asking. Most people just rush through without a second thought." Ali smiled, realizing how often he had been one of those people, too focused on his own tasks to notice others. "Well, you're doing an amazing job, and I appreciate it," he said. The simple compliment, genuine and heartfelt, lit up Layla's face. "Thank you, Ali. That really brightened my day." As he left the store, Ali couldn't help but feel a deep sense of gratitude. These small moments of connection, these simple acts of kindness and respect, had already begun to change his life. It wasn't just about impressing people or gaining opportunities. It was about the way his behavior was shaping his relationships. He felt more connected to the world around him, more present in the lives of those he encountered, and in return, the world seemed to respond with warmth and openness. Later that evening, Ali reflected on the day as he sat on his balcony, looking out at the stars. His heart was lighter than it had been in months. He had always believed that success was about what you did, how hard you worked, and how you climbed the ladder. But today, he had learned something new. Manners, he thought, are not just about politeness. They are a gateway to deeper connections, to building trust, and to creating an environment where both you and those around you can grow. He realized now that his approach to life had been too narrow. He had been focused solely on achieving his goals, thinking that success would come through effort and ambition alone. But true success, Ali now understood, came from the way you treated others, how you made people feel, how you showed empathy, respect, and kindness. It was through these gestures, large and small, that you built the kind of relationships that opened doors, not just in work, but in all aspects of life. The more he thought about it, the more Ali saw how much he had been missing. He had been so fixated on the destination, so focused on his own goals, that he had failed to see the importance of the journey, the way people interacted with him, the connections he formed, and the way he made others feel. His mind drifted back to Imam Zaid's words. "Manners are the foundation of everything you seek. The way you treat others will determine the life you create." Ali now understood that success wasn't just about achieving external milestones. It was about how you navigated the world with patience, kindness, and integrity, and how these qualities shaped the world around you. As the night deepened, Ali made a silent vow to continue this journey. He wasn't just going to focus on his career anymore. He was going to focus on becoming the kind of person who embodied the very values that Imam Zaid had taught him, a person whose success was rooted in his treatment of others, and whose life would change not just because of what he did, but because of who he became. As the days turned into weeks, Ali's commitment to practicing the principles Imam Zaid had taught him deepened. At first, he had been cautious, unsure of how much of a difference these small changes could really make. But now, he was beginning to see the ripple effect of his efforts. The more he applied kindness, patience, and genuine respect in his interactions, the more he felt his world shifting in ways he hadn't expected. It was as if the very fabric of his relationships, both at work and in his personal life, had started to unravel the knots of distance and misunderstanding that had bound them before. Ali's colleagues began to treat him differently. It was subtle at first, small smiles, warmer greetings, more open conversations, but soon it became impossible to ignore. His boss, Mr. Hassan, who had always been formal and distant, began to approach him for advice during meetings. Ali had always respected Mr. Hassan from afar, but now he was beginning to see him as more than just a superior. He was a person with his own challenges, someone Ali could connect with. One afternoon, as they reviewed a project together, Mr. Hassan looked at him thoughtfully. "Ali," he said, "I've noticed something different about you lately. You've become more approachable, more present. I appreciate the way you've been working with the team. People seem more engaged with your ideas." Ali smiled humbly, feeling a warm sense of accomplishment, not because he had achieved a career milestone, but because his efforts to connect and listen were finally being recognized. The recognition was not for his technical skills, though he knew those had improved. It was for the way he made others feel valued. "Thank you, sir," Ali said, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. "It's just about making sure people feel heard and respected. I believe it helps when everyone's voice matters." Mr. Hassan nodded approvingly. "I agree. You're on the right track, Ali. I want to offer you a new project, one that will challenge you and help you grow even more. You've earned it." Ali felt a surge of joy, but not from the opportunity itself. It was the way his character, nurtured by kindness and respect, had made an impression. His transformation wasn't just in his own life, it was influencing the lives of others too. It wasn't just at work where Ali felt a change. His personal life began to reflect the same transformation. One evening, he met his old friend Omar for coffee, someone he had known since childhood. They hadn't spent much time together in recent years, mostly exchanging small talk when they crossed paths. But tonight, as they sat across from each other in the quiet cafe, Ali tried something different. Instead of focusing on his own worries, he asked Omar about his life, truly listening to his responses. "How have you been, Omar?" Ali asked, his voice soft and genuine. "I know we haven't talked in a while. How's your family? How's everything going with you?" Omar looked surprised, but his eyes softened as he began to open up. He spoke about his struggles at work, his challenges in balancing family and career, and how he had been feeling disconnected from his own passions. As he spoke, Ali gave him his full attention, nodding in understanding and asking thoughtful questions. It wasn't about offering solutions or advice. It was about giving Omar the space to express himself. "I've never seen you like this before," Omar said, looking at Ali with a mix of appreciation and surprise. "You've always been busy, always talking about work, but tonight, I feel like I've finally been heard." That simple acknowledgement made Ali pause, a quiet realization dawning on him. "I've been so focused on my own goals, my own struggles, that I forgot to listen to the people around me," he thought. The power of truly listening was something he had underestimated, but now he could see its profound impact. It wasn't just about solving problems, it was about making people feel understood and valued. That moment of connection, sparked by his attention and respect, was more meaningful than anything Ali could have achieved with words or advice. As Ali continued to build meaningful relationships, he noticed something remarkable happening in his professional life. Doors that had previously been closed began to open. He was invited to important meetings, entrusted with more responsibility, and even offered collaborative projects that allowed him to shine. What was different now was how his colleagues and superiors viewed him, not just as a competent worker, but as a person who treated others with dignity and respect. One particular instance stood out to him. Rana, a senior executive who had always been reserved with him, called him into her office. Ali had always admired her from a distance, but she had never really paid attention to him. However, today, something had shifted. "Ali, I've been meaning to talk to you about something," she began, her tone unusually warm. "I've been watching how you interact with the team, how you've made an effort to include everyone and listen to their ideas. It's impressive, and I think you're ready for more responsibility." Ali felt a sense of validation, not for his skills or accomplishments, but for the person he had become. Through simple acts of respect, kindness, and sincerity, he had earned the trust and admiration of those around him. It wasn't just about pushing himself to be the best in his field. It was about being the best version of himself, someone who valued others and sought to build relationships that went beyond professional transactions. In the weeks that followed, Ali's reputation continued to grow, but not for the reasons he had once hoped. It wasn't his technical expertise that made him stand out. It was the integrity and trust he had cultivated through consistent acts of kindness and respect. His colleagues began to trust him more, and his superiors viewed him as a reliable, empathetic leader. He had become the person others wanted to work with, not just because of his work ethic, but because of how he treated them. One afternoon, as he sat in a meeting with a potential client, Ali noticed a shift in the atmosphere. The client, who had been skeptical at first, now seemed to view him with respect and openness. "You've earned our trust, Ali," the client said after the meeting, offering him a handshake. "I appreciate your sincerity and the way you approach business. We're looking forward to working together." For the first time in his life, Ali realized that success wasn't just about making connections. It was about making genuine connections. The success that had once felt so elusive now seemed to be within his grasp. But it wasn't just because of his hard work. It was because he had learned the true power of building relationships, of showing respect, of listening deeply, and of being present. As Ali continued to embrace his new approach to life, the changes in his interactions grew more profound. It wasn't just about the big moments, like impressing clients or receiving praise from his superiors, but the small, everyday acts of kindness that seemed to make the most difference. He had stopped viewing success solely through the lens of achievement and recognition. Instead, he began to focus on how his actions impacted those around him. Slowly, he felt a sense of fulfillment that had eluded him for so long. One day, as Ali walked through the town, he noticed a group of children playing in the park. He had always walked past them before, too caught up in his own thoughts to pay attention to such simple joys. But today, something stopped him. He paused, watching the children's laughter echo in the air. They were chasing each other, their faces alight with excitement. Ali felt a strange tug at his heart, a reminder of the carefree days of childhood, when life seemed full of promise without the weight of responsibilities and worries. It was then that he noticed a young boy sitting alone on the bench, looking at the others with envy. His eyes were filled with longing, but he didn't move. Ali walked over and sat beside him, offering a friendly smile. "Why aren't you playing with the others?" he asked, his voice gentle. The boy looked up, surprised, but then shrugged. "I'm not very good at playing," he said quietly. Ali smiled and nodded. "You don't have to be the best at something to enjoy it. Sometimes it's just about joining in and having fun with others. Would you like to join me for a game?" The boy hesitated for a moment, then smiled shyly and agreed. They joined the others, and Ali watched as the boy's face lit up with joy. The laughter they shared that afternoon was genuine, filled with innocence and warmth. Ali realized that by simply offering his attention and kindness, he had changed the course of that boy's day. Later that night, as he sat by his window reflecting on the events of the day, Ali felt an overwhelming sense of peace. The work projects, the meetings, the recognition, they were all important, yes, but it was the moments like these that truly made him feel alive. He had learned that the smallest gestures of kindness could bring about the most significant change. It wasn't about grand gestures or seeking validation. It was about making people feel seen and valued. That, Ali realized, was where real success lay. The following weeks saw more shifts in Ali's life. His business relationships continued to flourish as trust and goodwill deepened. He found himself invited to more collaborative projects, his insights respected and valued by others. But even more important than the work was the way his character had begun to change. His heart had become lighter, more open, more receptive to the world around him. He found that his life had transformed not because of the opportunities that had come his way, but because of the way he had begun to engage with others. Ali noticed that when he treated people with respect and kindness, they reciprocated in ways that he hadn't expected. In the workplace, colleagues began to approach him with ideas, seeking his feedback, and even inviting him to lead initiatives. He was no longer the invisible worker in the background, but someone others wanted to engage with, someone they trusted. He understood now that his journey wasn't about chasing success. It was about earning the respect of others through his actions. In his personal life, Ali's relationships with family and friends grew deeper. He began to listen more intently, to give his full attention, and to show appreciation for the people in his life. He found himself more patient with his parents, more understanding with his siblings, and more present with his friends. He had learned that relationships were built on respect and care, not on surface-level interactions or expectations. One evening, after a long day, Ali sat at the dinner table with his family. As they shared stories, laughed about old memories, and discussed their lives, Ali felt a deep sense of gratitude. He realized that the success he had longed for wasn't something external at all. It was about the relationships he had cultivated, the trust he had earned, and the peace he had found within himself by embracing good manners and treating others with respect. Success had come in a way he never expected, through connection, through sincerity, and through kindness. As the year came to a close, Ali reflected on how much he had changed. He wasn't the same person he had been at the beginning of the year. His dreams were no longer tied to external achievements alone, but to the growth he had experienced within himself. Ali had found true success, not in what he had earned, but in how he had become a person who valued others, who listened, who respected, and who had learned the life-changing power of manners. As the days passed and the year drew to a close, Ali stood by the window, gazing out at the town below. The streets were quieter now, bathed in the soft light of the setting sun, and in that moment, Ali realized just how much had changed in his life. His career was thriving, his relationships were deeper, and most importantly, his heart was at peace. The pursuit of success, once a relentless chase for external achievements, had shifted to a pursuit of growth, connection, and sincerity. Ali had learned the true meaning of success, not through titles, wealth, or recognition, but through the way he treated others. His newfound appreciation for good manners had transformed his life in ways he couldn't have imagined. By practicing kindness, patience, and respect in every interaction, Ali had built stronger connections, earned trust, and opened doors to opportunities. But beyond all that, he had learned the power of listening, the importance of showing gratitude, and the strength that comes from simply being present in the lives of others. As he sat down to reflect on the journey, Ali smiled. The dreams he had once sought with such urgency were now unfolding in the most beautiful and unexpected ways. His life had changed, not because he had worked harder, but because he had become a person who valued others and who treated every relationship with care and respect. The small acts of kindness that had seemed insignificant at first had woven a fabric of trust and connection, creating a life far richer than he could have imagined. And so, as the new year approached, Ali knew that his journey was just beginning. He would continue to walk this path of sincerity and respect, building relationships, offering kindness, and embracing the life-changing power of good manners. For in the end, it wasn't the things he had achieved that mattered most. It was the person he had become along the way. Ali's story is a powerful reminder that true success isn't measured by what we achieve, but by how we treat others. The simplest of manners, showing kindness, being patient, listening with intention, have the power to transform not only our relationships, but our entire lives. As we step into the new year, let's remember that the most valuable thing we can give to the world is our respect, our kindness, and our genuine care for those around us. If Ali's journey resonated with you, take a moment today to reflect on the power of your own manners. How can you make someone's day better with a simple act of kindness or gratitude? The change begins with us, one small gesture at a time. Thank you for watching. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's continue to walk this path of growth together.